Now, viral hepatitis has been taught in microbiology?
No, sir.
Anyway, today we'll be talking about hepatitis, viral hepatitis. Now, these individual viruses will be dealt in detail by microbiology department. My job is to tell about etiology and morphology of the viral hepatitis as well as sequelae of viral hepatitis. So I'll cover only these three first, and later on, if I have got time, I'll talk about virology. Now, these are the causes of viral hepatitis, means all the viruses. What are the viruses? Most important is hepatotropic viruses. Now, hepatotropic viruses are hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D, hepatitis E, and hepatitis G. Most of them are RNA virus except hepatitis D. So unless otherwise specified, the term viral hepatitis refers to disease caused by the group of hepatotropic viruses. So you should know what are the hepatotropic viruses. The other viruses which can cause viral hepatitis: yellow fever virus, herpes simplex virus, the CMV, Epstein-Barr virus. So these are the other three group of viruses which can cause viral hepatitis. Yellow fever is not in our area; it is in Africa only. So we are more concerned with herpes simplex and cytomegalovirus and Epstein-Barr virus. Most important is hepatotropic virus. Now, I will not deal with the individual viruses first. I will go to morphology. A key morphological feature of acute viral hepatitis. When there is a viral hepatitis, there is jaundice, there is a pain in the right side, and in liver is enlarged, urine is dark colored. All those things will be taught in clinical side. So, what is the gross appearance of the liver in viral hepatitis? Liver is enlarged. It is soft and greenish. Greenish is because of jaundice, staining of the liver by the biliverdin. So, liver is enlarged, soft and green. Under microscope, you should see all these findings. First is necrosis. I will deal with necrosis first. And this necrosis is most marked in zone 3. I told you zone 3 zones. Zone 1 is near the periphery and zone 3 is near the central vein. So that zone 3 is the most vulnerable. And what are types of generation necrosis you can see? First is ballooning degeneration or ballooning necrosis. In this, hepatocytes are swollen. They are granular cytoplasm, and then cytoplasm condense around the nucleus. That is called ballooning degeneration, means hydropic degeneration of the hepatocytes. Then concealment body. These are hepatotic bodies. These are eosinophilic body where nucleus is small and pycnotic. And this is a result of hepatosis. So these are concealment bodies or hepatotic body. I told you in the first year when we are talking about hepatosis. Now, in this nucleus may be thrown out later on. So first is ballooning degeneration, second is hepatotic bodies, third is dropout necrosis. Dropout necrosis is isolated small cluster of cells undergo lysis. So this is dropout necrosis. Then there is a bridging necrosis. This is more common in hepatitis B. This is band of necrosis linking portal to portal, central to hepatic vein, or central to central vein. So this is a bridge. It forms a bridge, necrosed tissue between the central vein to central vein, between portal tract to other portal tract, or between central and portal tract, central vein and portal tract. That's all the hepatocytes are necrosed. So this is it. So you should know ballooning degeneration, concealment body, dropout necrosis, bridging necrosis. These are all types of necrosis you see in the viral hepatitis. We'll come to later on when we talk about individual characteristic of viral hepatitis A and B and what is different. Now people are still joining. Anyway, the second feature you see, so that was in the lobule, hepatic lobule, this necrosis. Second is portal tract inflammation. It is a mononuclear inflammatory cell, that is lymphocyte, plasma cells, and macrophage. And this inflammatory cell spill over in the adjacent parenchyma, adjacent lobular hepatocyte. So there is a necrosis of the adjoining hepatocytes near the portal tract. So first is infiltration of portal tract by the chronic inflammatory cell, and they spill over into adjacent parenchyma. The third feature is sinusoidal cell reactive change. So third change is in the sinusoids, hepatic sinusoid, that is between hepatic cords, and that Kupffer cell hyperplasia is there, and there is accumulation of phagocytosed cells, that is dead cell, which are phagocytosed, and these phagocytes will contain also bile. So there is a Kupffer cell hyperplasia, and these Kupffer cell may be containing cellular debris as well as bilirubin. And last chain is if the late phase of the viral hepatitis, you can see the regenerative activity of hepatocyte. Hepatocyte has tremendous capacity of regeneration. So these are the changes, types of necrosis you see in acute viral hepatitis. Then portal tract change in inflammation, then sinusoidal hyperplasia of the Kupffer cells, and then regenerative activity. These are common to all types of viral hepatitis. Now, what are the special features in HAV, hepatitis A virus? The involvement is panlobular. The whole lobule is involved by heavy inflammatory infiltrate causing lobular disarray. I mean that you will not find that card and all that and sinusoid, it is all jumbled up. So this is involvement of whole lobule in the hepatitis A virus. In hepatitis C virus, what are the additional changes you will find? Mild necrosis and fatty change. Necrosis is mild and these cells will be containing fat globules. Necrotic cells will be having fat globules. And there will be lymphoid aggregates and follicles with central hyperplasia in the portal tract. So you'll find in hepatitis C virus, one is necrosis with fatty change, then lymphoid aggregates, including the lymphoid follicle formation in portal tract. So this is characteristic of SCV. HAV is panlobular. This is mild necrosis with fatty change, lymphoid aggregates in portal tract. And then hepatitis B virus, which is the most dangerous virus. The hepatocyte has got ground glass appearance. You know, this is because of, this ground glass is because of presence of hepatitis B virus in the cytoplasm. And that gives a ground glass appearance. Sanded nuclei, that is a nuclei also contain these virus particles. So they appear sand-like. And there is a bridging necrosis. What is bridging necrosis? That necrosis which goes from the portal to portal, central to central, and central to portal. That necrosis, that is a bridging necrosis, a feature of hepatitis B virus. And then interphase hepatitis. That is hepatitis surrounding the portal tract. That is a part of lobule which is next to the portal tract will show inflammatory cell as well as necrosis. That is also called piecemeal necrosis. Piecemeal means piece by piece. Means that necrosis starts from the portal tract piece by piece to the inside the lobule. So that is also called piecemeal necrosis or interphase hepatitis, which is seen in interphase hepatitis in hepatitis B virus. So these are the special characteristic of acute viral hepatitis. That is first I told you changes in the type of necrosis. Then I showed you portal inflammation. Then I showed you sinusoidal hyperplasia, then regenerative active, and these are the characteristic of special features of A, C, and B virus. Now we come to the chronic hepatitis. Hepatitis can be of two types, you know. Acute hepatitis, acute viral hepatitis, and chronic viral hepatitis. Now, what is the definition of chronic viral hepatitis? Symptomatic biochemical or serological evidence of continuing or relapsing hepatic disease for more than 6 months with histologically means biopsy documented inflammation and necrosis. So there should be 6-month history of symptoms. That is a loss of appetite and that weakness, lethargy, and all that, jaundice. Biochemical changes in raised serum bilirubin and serum enzymes, serological enzyme, those enzymes, serum antibodies, and it should last for 6 months. So it is not that 1 month, after 2 months you can say chronic hepatitis, and after biopsy you can see that inflammation and necrosis is still persisting. So the 6-month period you should remember about chronic hepatitis. This feature of hepatitis, clinical as well as biochemical and serological, should continue after 6 months. That is chronic hepatitis, if they persist. Now, what are the causes of chronic hepatitis? Hepatitis B virus, all those hepatotropic viruses, they can lead to chronic hepatitis, except hepatitis A, hepatitis E, hepatitis G. All others, that is B, C, and D, they can lead to chronic hepatitis. You know, D is not a complete virus, it requires hepatitis B virus is covering. So chronic hepatitis, what are causes? Hepatitis virus, that is HBV and HCV more commonly. Others are Wilson disease causes chronic hepatitis. Alpha 1 antitrypsin disease causes chronic hepatitis. Chronic alcoholism, drugs, autoimmune hepatitis. These are chronic hepatitis, but chronic viral hepatitis caused by those viruses, hepatitis B virus and hepatitis C virus mainly. Other causes of chronic hepatitis are these. So don't confuse. Chronic viral hepatitis is different. Chronic hepatitis caused by other things, that is Wilson disease, these are different. So if we are talking of viral hepatitis, chronic viral hepatitis, we are mainly concerned with hepatitis, hepatotrophic viruses, that is hepatitis B and C. A and E, they do not cause chronic. Now, what are the additional feature of chronic hepatitis? Morphology. Changes shared by acute hepatitis, all those things I told you is there. That is necrosis is there. There is a portal inflammation is there. And there is a sinusoidal hyperplasia will be there. So in addition to that, see this hepatocyte injury, necrosis and regeneration, sinusoidal cell reactive changes, portal tract inflammation confined to portal tract or spillover into adjacent parenchyma with necrosis of hepatocyte, that is interface hepatitis, or bridging inflammation and necrosis that I told you, portal to portal, central to. These all will be seen in the chronic hepatitis. Now, as I told you, acute inflammation, what is different in acute inflammation and chronic inflammation? In chronic inflammation, along with inflammation, there are features of repair. So here also, in chronic hepatitis, viral hepatitis, along with features of acute inflammation, that is acute hepatitis, which I have told you, hepatitis injury, sinusoidal site active, portal tract inflammation, all this, there will be additional feature of fibrosis, that portal and periportal deposition or formation of bridging fibrous septa, portal to central, portal to central. So that bridging necrosis, portal to portal, so there will be fibrosis, portal to portal, central to central fibrosis. Now, in HBV infection, you can see the ground glass cytoplasm and sanded nuclei in the hepatocytes. That I told you in acute viral hepatitis. SCV, what you will find? Bile duct epithelial cell hyperplasia, lymphoid aggregate formation in the portal tract, as well as this fatty change. What I told you, the features of the acute will be here also. But in addition to that, there will be evidence of fibrosis, that is repair is also there. That is a laying down of very minute, immature fibrous tissue. And at the end, it will lead to cirrhosis, that is regenerative nodules. Now I'll show you so that is chronic hepatitis. So this is a portal inflammation. You see chronic inflammatory cell, there is a reaction of bile duct, inflammatory, that is a lymphocyte, plasma cell, macrophage. This is a periportal necrosis that I told you, interface. This is portal tract, this is central vein, this is lobule. Now this is a periportal necrosis that I told you, interface necrosis, that is interface between portal tract and lobule. That is interface hepatitis and necrosis. Now these are the fatty change in hepatitis C. See these hepatocytes have got fat globules. Now this is a ballooning degeneration. The cell is swollen, central, this pyknotic center. These are the apoptotic body. These are pink, actually here it's shown black. These are apoptotic body, that is Consilman bodies. And this is sinusoid. This is hepatic cord. And this is sinusoid, which is showing the Kupffer cell hyperplasia. And these Kupffer cells will contain hyperplasia in increased number, and they will contain bile pigment as well as dead and debris cell. This is again hypertrophic bodies. These are the Kupffer. So this is the feature has been shown. Of course, here also this is a chronic hepatitis. See, this is formation of lymphoid aggregates, bile duct proliferation, bridging fibrosis. That is portal to central. This is central vein. This is fibrosis formation. These are of course hepatocytes, lymphocytes, macrophage aggregates, fatty change in hepatitis C, ground glass appearance in hepatitis B, periportal fibrosis will be there. So in addition to acute hepatitis changes, only difference you will find is that there is a evidence of repair, that is a fibrosis. So that is a chronic hepatitis morphology. So that is a morphological change in acute hepatitis, viral hepatitis and chronic viral hepatitis. Only thing, in acute hepatitis, the liver will be large, it will be green and it will be soft. In chronic, it will be formed and it may become small, depending on the extent of disease. Later on, when cirrhosis there, it may become very small or it may be large. Now, these are the ballooning degeneration of the cells. This is a Councilman body. This is a protein body. These are all inflammatory cells. These are hepatic cord. In between are macrophages, and these are inflammatory cells. See, this is a hepatitis diffuse infiltration of the lobule by this inflammatory cell, chronic inflammatory cell. This is a bridging necrosis. You see this bridge from portal to portal. This is central vein. So this is bridging necrosis. It may lead to bridging fibrosis. Okay, so you should know what is bridging. This is more common in hepatitis B virus. This is showing that periportal interface, and this is lobular disruption in a hepatitis A virus. In the whole of the lobule is infiltrated in by the chronic and there is inflammatory change. Now these are those. This is the ground glass cytoplasm. This is the sanded nucleus. These ground glass and sanded nucleus, because of hepatitis B virus, is DNA virus. So it multiplies in the nucleus, and you can do a viral stain for this, and you can see demonstrate the virus in the liver. So this is in a high power. This ground glass. This is the lymphoid aggregates and lymphoid. This is in a hepatitis C virus. Again, chronic hepatitis surface, and this is a bridging necrosis in hepatitis B. Now, what is a fulminant hepatitis? You know, complication of viral hepatitis is fulminant hepatitis, means it is called massive or submassive hepatic necrosis. The whole liver may be necrosed, or the part of the liver may be necrosed. That is called fulminant, and it occurs within 2 to 3 weeks, and it is followed by hepatic encephalopathy, that brain involvement, submassive self-fulminant, and in submassive course may, this wrong spelling, extending up to 3 months. Now, what are the causes? Most commonly, we are talking of fulminant hepatitis. We are talking of hepatitis. We don't see in hepatitis A, very rare 1%. Otherwise, it is hepatitis B, and mostly B and C. So 50 to 65 hepatitis B, hepatitis B and D, hepatitis B, HIV, SCV, HEV. HEV in pregnancy can lead to massive hepatic in pregnancy. Drug and chemicals, paracetamol, isoniazid, halotone, dopamine. But we are talking about viral hepatitis. So massive hepatitis means one of the complications of viral hepatitis, massive and submassive necrosis or hepatic failure. Entire liver may be necrosed, weight reduced to 500, 700 grams, liver limp, bile stain, limb is become very soft, and the surface capsule is crumpled. Under microscope, you'll find complete dissection of contiguous liver lobule. Reticulin framework collapsed. Portal tract are preserved. Little or no inflammation. You see this. There will be lack of inflammation. If patient survives, then there will be regeneration. So that is massive. And see this. This is normal liver. See the whole liver cell. These are all necrosed. Now, second is sequelae. Sequelae of viral hepatitis. One is jaundice complication, I told you. Fulminant hepatitis, just now I described you. Hepatic failure, hepatic encephalopathy, most common hepatitis B virus. Chronic hepatitis, most common in hepatitis C and hepatitis B virus. Cirrhosis, most common in hepatitis C and hepatitis B. Hepatocellular carcinoma, hepatitis B virus. Chronic carrier state, hepatitis C virus and hepatitis B virus. See, these are the very dangerous, hepatitis C and hepatitis B virus. And they are transmitted by parental route, sexual route, oral route. Oral means by saliva, breastfeed. So these are some of the sequelae, that is jaundice, fulminant hepatitis, chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis, hepatocellular carcinoma, and chronic carrier state. Means the patient will carry hepatitis C and HIV, and if their blood is given to another person, he will develop hepatitis. Now, other complications are extrahepatic manifestation. That is the acute glomerulonephritis. These are the extrahepatic manifestation. Acute glomerulonephritis, polyarteritis nodosa. This is nodosa, not nanosa. This is D. Cryoglobulinemia, serum sickness-like syndrome like arthalgia, rash, proteinuria. So these are the extrahepatic manifestation of viral hepatitis, especially chronic hepatitis, chronic viral. And this is a cirrhosis, one of the sequelae of viral hepatitis. So that we have completed the etiology, that is hepatotrophic viruses. Then morphology, gross viral hepatitis, acute viral hepatitis, gross, microscopic, special characteristic of hepatitis A, B, and C. Then chronic hepatitis definition, and additional feature in chronic hepatitis is process of repair, that is fibrosis, in addition to other features. But as I told you, chronic hepatitis is mainly caused by hepatitis C and B. And then sequelae, that is jaundice, submassive and massive hepatic necrosis, then cirrhosis, then carrier state, then hepatocellular carcinoma, extra hepatic clinical manifestation like acute glomerulonephritis, cryoglobulinemia, then serum sickness like syndrome like arthalgia, myalgia, and other features. So this is, I have covered my part. Now, if I have got time, that is given. This will be taught again in the microbiology in the event, because they will be talking only virus. This is also called infectious hepatitis. Hepatitis A, rare after children, childhood is more common, and this is one of them that which leads to the contamination of water, sewage water, and the municipal corporation. The whole area will get infected by it. So this is it may take a form of epidemic. Oral route, because it transmitted contaminated water, food, because the virus is shed in feces. 2-3 weeks after incubation, and 1 week after the onset of symptoms is fecal. Water contamination cause contacts in hostel during a period. Incubation period 2 to 6 weeks. Symptoms are mild. Rarely fulminant hepatitis. I told you, fatality is 0.1%. IgM antibody serum is a reliable marker for infection, and IgG immune provides the lifelong immunity. So HIV is small, non-enveloped, single RNA virus, single strand. The coronavirus that occupies own genus hepatovirus, no carrier state, no chronicity. You should know that. This is that jaundice symptom, then antibody, anti-IgG, anti-HIV, and IgM. This will come. This IgA will provide the, IgG will provide the, and this is fecal excretion. I told you first few weeks. Now hepatitis B virus, it is a DNA virus. All body fluids it is present. That is CSF, semen, saliva, blood, absent in stool. So that's why it is not. So it is transmitted by transfusion, IV drug user, dialysis, homosexual activity, needle prick, accident, transplacental, that is a mother to child. Now, of course, hepatinavirus, mature virus is called dense particle, and it has core protein, that is HBC antigen and HBE antigen in the core of the, and there is envelope, that is SBS. And DNA polymerase is there, which helps in proliferation, and HBX, which is necessary for viral replication, and it leads to causation of hepatocellular carcinoma. HBX protein, gene, it is all present in the core protein, HBX protein, DNA polymerase protein. So these are all proteins produced by the virus. Surface antigen appears before onset of symptoms, peaks during overt disease, declines in 3 to 6 months. Now, this will again taught in your microbiology class, because so that's why it will be repeated. I am going fast. Only I will emphasize the important features. Now, as I told you, the surface antigen, when antibody to surface antigen appears, anti-SBS IgG, this surface antigen will disappear, and it will provide a lifelong immunity. And prevention, that vaccine which we had against the HBV, that contains the HBS antigen. So that surface antigen we inject and antibody produced will give lifelong immunity. Disappearance of HBE antigen with appearance of HBE antigen antibody, that is disappearance of antigen E and appearance of anti-E indicative of subsiding disease. Means if HBE disease is persisting and there is no antibody to E, so anti-E when appears, this starts disappearing. Loss of HBE Antigen failure to form anti-HBe antigen is associated with fulminant cause, you see. Persistent circulating HBsAg, HBsE antigen and HBV DNA usually with anti-HBc occasionally with anti-HBs is associated with progressive disease. So persistence of these antigens. Causes of serum hepatitis. Hepatitis B virus is the most important cause of serum hepatitis. It is called serum hepatitis because it's conveyed through blood transfusion and blood. Same features will be there: acute hepatitis, chronic non-progressive hepatitis, progressive chronic hepatitis, asymptomatic carrier state. And backdrop for hepatitis B virus is not a complete virus. It requires hepatitis B virus for its proliferation. So when both are there, it will be very fulminant cause. Hepatocellular carcinoma, hepatitis B virus. These are important hepatitis B virus. Hepatocellular carcinoma, backdrop for hepatitis D. It causes carrier state. It leads to chronic hepatitis, leading to cirrhosis and acute hepatitis. These are various things which can be caused by hepatitis B virus. This is a B virus. These are the course, it is from Robbins. You can see it going to it. This is a subclinical disease, acute hepatitis, healthy carrier, persistent infection, chronic hepatitis, here death, that is hepatocellular failure and recovery and fulminant hepatitis death. These are this is also from the same serology, antibodies and antigen to hepatitis B and progression to chronic. Now hepatitis C is not, this is a RNA virus, but it is most important transfusion associated hepatitis causes. This is the most important cause of, more common than hepatitis B, hepatitis C. And it is RNA, hepatitis B is DNA. 90 to 95% of all transfusion associated hepatitis caused by hepatitis C. It is also common in homosexual, hemophilia, IV drug users, like hepatitis B. Transmission is same route. And in addition to unexplained cirrhosis and liver cancer, prevalence of SCV in patients with this cirrhosis and hepatocellular cancer, more than 50% you will find the hepatitis C virus positivity. Prevalence of